Meta have just released their brand new budget-friendly VR headset called the Meta Quest 3S. But you may be wondering, is it worth it? Whether you're new to VR or thinking of upgrading, in this video, I will be comparing the 3 main Meta VR headsets and which one is worth purchasing based on your needs. I'll be covering a lot of different topics in this video, and if you want to know about something specific, there's always the timestamps linked down below. But first, we have a tradition on this channel whenever there's a new headset release, and that's a sexy unboxing montage. So tech spec wise, how are the headsets different? Well, the Quest 3S and the Quest 3 both have the same Snapdragon XR2 processor, whereas the Quest 1 is running the Generation 1 version. And while the Quest 2 is no longer in production, I will be comparing it in this video as I know a lot of you currently own this headset and are thinking of upgrading. I do want to clear up some confusion though. The Quest 3S is designed as an upgrade from the Quest 2. It is not an upgrade of the Quest 3. It's a budget-friendly version of the Quest 3. So if you already own a Quest 3, this video is not for you. Go watch some of my news videos instead. The upgraded processor on the Quest 3S allows you to play games at a higher graphical fidelity. So basically, games will look better on the Quest 3 and Quest 3S. You can also play Quest 3 exclusive games. So if you want to play Batman Arkham Shadow, Alien Rogue Incursion, or Starship Home, you're going to have to buy a Quest 3 or Quest 3S. These games are not supported in the Quest 2. And by the way, you get Batman Arkham Shadow for free when you buy Quest 3 or 3S. You also get $30 in Quest Cash to spend on games when you use my Quest 3S affiliate link down below. The main and most important difference between the Quest 3 and the Quest 3S is the lenses. The Quest 3S has the exact same Fresnel lenses and 1080p resolution as the Quest 2. It also has a fixed IPD, whereas the Quest 3 has the upgraded pancake lenses with a 4K resolution and an adjustable IPD. The Quest 3S comes in 128GB storage for $299 or 256GB of storage for $399. Whereas now, the Quest 3 only comes in a 512GB model for $499. Now, the Quest 3 and 3S both have full color pass-through cameras for mixed reality, but the Quest 3S does not have a depth sensor, which I test out later on in this video, whereas the Quest 2 only has crappy black and white pass-through cameras. The Quest 3S also has the same Touch Plus controllers as the Quest 3, which I'm a fan of, and some other slight differences include that the Quest 3S no longer has a headphone port. I think the inbuilt speakers are perfectly fine, and I personally never use headphones with the Quest 3 or 3S. The Quest 3S speakers are slightly bassier and maybe slightly tinier, but it didn't sound inferior to the Quest 3 in my opinion. The speakers are greatly improved over the Quest 2 though. The Quest 3 and Quest 3S head straps are all compatible with each other, which is great, and the Quest 3 and 3S are pretty much the same in weight, whereas the Quest 2 is slightly lighter, but it's way more uncomfier in my opinion. Now, if you do buy any Quest headset, the default head straps they come with are absolute garbage. My #1 recommendation is to throw that trash away and budget in the cost of a new head strap, preferably one with a built-in or replaceable battery so you can actually have a good and comfortable experience with your new VR headset. My favorite is the Bobo VR Pro head straps with a removable battery pack. But picking a head strap is kind of like picking a Pokemon starter. Everyone is going to have a favorite, and I'm Team Charmander. I mean Bobo VR. Now, I really want to discuss the graphic comparisons between these headsets. While the Quest 3 and 3S have the same processor, they do have different lenses, with the Quest 3S having a lower resolution. But how much does that actually affect things? Well, to be honest, graphically, I found it hard to tell the difference in most games. I booted up Red Matter on the Quest 2, Quest 3S, and Quest 3, and found a significant difference between the Quest 2 version and the 3S version, but struggled to notice any real difference between the Quest 3S and Quest 3 versions. I found the game looked quite stunning on the Quest 3 and 3S and would happily play the game on either headset, whereas I strongly noticed the downscaled textures and shadows in the Quest 2 version, and it definitely lacked that wow experience that this game can deliver. I also tested tested out some escaping Wonderland on the Quest 3S and was able to zoom right into the game to see all the fun details. They're also the sponsor of today's video. This game is like a prequel to the very popular Alice in Wonderland stories, where you follow Molly, who accidentally tumbles down the rabbit hole into Wonderland. You have to help her get back home by solving puzzles and mingling with the marvelous characters of Wonderland. The game utilizes third-person perspective to navigate Molly through the charming diorama-styled environments, and you use the roots coming out of the wall to drag the environment to your desired view and to follow Molly around. The game also shifts into first person for solving puzzles and talking to characters.
Yes! Crack the whip on me!
The puzzles are very interactive and a great mix of challenging and fun, and I absolutely love the voice acting in this game. It's so well done.
You're finally back in Wonderland!
There's also plenty of fun Easter eggs and returning characters if you're an Alice in Wonderland fan, and it has almost a perfect 5-star rating on the Quest store, and I think this cozy puzzle game is a great addition to your Quest games library, and of course, it looks great on the Quest 3S. Some other games that look great on the Quest 3S was Starship Home. This is a mixed reality game that utilizes the front pass-through cameras to place objects in your environment. And again, graphically, I really couldn't tell that much of a difference between the Quest 3 and 3S version. The Quest 3 pass-through felt like it was slightly sharper and the lighting felt a bit better, but if I was an average Joe and was trying it for the first time, I would think they're the same thing. The mixed reality cameras is one of the major upgrades on the Quest 3S over the Quest 2. It allows you to play games in full color pass-through, so you can see your real life environment while interacting with objects. A lot of people think mixed reality is a bit of a gimmick, but personally, I love it. Especially if you're new to VR or maybe get motion sickness, these games have the biggest wow factor and are only going to get better and better. I did a few room setup tests between the headsets. Both were able to accurately scan my environment and identify furniture, walls, windows, and doors. One unique feature of the Quest 3S is that it does have a pass-through button. So if you're in a VR game and someone comes into the room and you want to see them and talk to them, you can just press the pass-through button on the bottom of the headset and it'll shift you into pass-through mode. I quite like this feature and would like to see this on future headsets. Now, the Quest 3S is meant to have longer battery life than the Quest 3 and Quest 2, but man, my battery tanked pretty hard. I don't know if it was just me or something that will get fixed with an update, or maybe I've just forgotten how bad the Quest battery life is from using additional battery packs. So again, I harp on about it, but buying an additional head strap with a built-in or replaceable battery is a must for these headsets, because the battery life, it does suck. A lot of you guys wanted me to test out the hand tracking, and I used extreme scientific procedures to test out the hand tracking in great detail. Between the headsets, I really didn't notice that much difference. The hand tracking was definitely better on the Quest 3 and 3S. And while the Quest 3S does not have a depth sensor, it does have something else, and that is infrared flood illuminators. An AI illuminator is a tool that transmits light on the infrared spectrum, which has a longer wavelength than visible light, which means you can use the hand tracking at night. And of course, this isn't its main use, but it's designed to improve hand tracking in low light situations. So some people report better hand tracking on the Quest 3S, but to be honest, I really couldn't tell a difference. But how does the controller tracking differ? I used Beat Saber as a test subject, of course, and played the same song 3 times on each headset. Again, not much of a difference. My scores on average were pretty similar across the headsets. If anything, I felt like the Quest 3S performed a little better, felt more fluid and responsive. And my theory behind that is that maybe it saves processing power by outputting at a lower resolution. The game definitely looked crisper and the text easier to read on the Quest 3 version though, but tracking wise, they were all pretty on par. And if you think upgrading your VR headset is going to make you better at Beat Saber, just remember that the top ranked Beat Saber players in the world play on a Quest 2. I will say though, after playing on the Quest 2, I very much appreciate the lighter, less bulkier VR controllers on the Quest 3 and 3S. One little quirk of the Quest 3S that I do not like is the lack of proximity sensor. The proximity sensor detects when you put the headset on or place it on a table, so it can automatically go to sleep or wake up based on the movement. The Quest 3S does not have that, so if I put the headset on after leaving on the table for a bit, the headset's completely turned off and I have to power it on each time, which isn't a big deal, but I do miss it automatically turning it on when I do put it on my face. Just kind of creates a bit more friction when using it, but hey, first world problems, right? Now, I think one of the biggest drawbacks of the Quest 3S is the lenses, and I don't mean the resolution. The resolution I think is totally fine for playing most VR games, and with the improved processor, you're going to get an upgraded experience over the Quest 2 regardless. But after being a Quest 3 user for the last year, you really notice the limitations of the fixed IPD on the Quest 3S Fresnel lenses. Every time I put the headset on, it always felt like just wearing glasses with a slightly incorrect prescription. Like I could never decide what fixed IPD was best for me and was constantly trying to adjust it. It also made finding the sweet spot even more difficult. Like I couldn't just put the headset on and feel like it was crisp and clear to read. I kept having to adjust it to find that kind of comfort spot. Whereas when I put my Quest 3 headset on, it always felt clear and comfortable as soon as I put it on. You also really notice the limited field of view on the Quest 3S, with everything in the peripherals feeling slightly blurry. Like when reading a page, you simply can't just like glance to look at something. You have to move your whole head to keep things in focus. But let me be clear, these issues are exactly the same on the Quest 2. This is a limitation of the Fresnel lenses technology and isn't unique to the Quest 3S. So if you're upgrading from a Quest 2, you probably won't even notice it because you're used to it. But after using a Quest 3 for a while, you do really notice how superior these lenses are and understand why they're worth the extra cost. But that's exactly what the Quest 3 is. It's a superior headset with a superior cost. But will you have an inferior experience with the Quest 3S? Absolutely not. Like anyone can tell you that hands down, the Quest 3 is the better headset, because it is. But not everyone is going to want to spend that amount of money on the Quest 3. There's a lot of people out there who are new to VR and don't want to invest a whole bunch of money into something they're not even sure they're going to like. And of course, with the cost of living these days, a $300 headset is way more accessible. If you want the best VR gaming experience and have the budget for it, then of course, buy the Quest 3. I think it's a great headset, I love it. I also think it's great for PC VR gaming, especially if you've got a wireless setup. But if you want a pretty great VR experience, then the Quest 3S is absolutely going to cover all your needs. I feel like it's like playing Cyberpunk with a 1080p gaming monitor. It's still going to be an awesome gaming experience regardless of the resolution. But my final conclusion is that the Quest 3S is a perfectly decent headset and quite an upgrade from the Quest 2. If you have the money, the Quest 3 is a better headset for the improved lenses. I think if you know you love VR and spend a lot of time in VR, spending the extra money on the Quest 3 is a good investment. But if you're new to VR or use it casually or don't want to spend the extra money, you're still going to have a great experience with the Quest 3S. So let me know in the comments which one you're thinking of buying, or if you're just going to stay with the same headset, or if you bought one of these headsets already, let other people know in the comments what you think of it to help them with their buying decision. But anyway, thanks for watching this video. Make sure to give it a like so it'll help other people find it in the algorithm, and I'll see you next time. Bye!